second question is, tell me about some of the myths that's out here in the market. I know some of them are, well, I need 20% down. Is that true? Do you need 20% down, or how does that work?
No, you don't need 20% down, and I know that that's a consistent thing that people hear all the time. Particularly if you're a first-time home buyer, it's even lower. So just as an example, a loan product that's a government loan product, like an FHA loan product, is 3.5% down. If you're doing a conventional loan as a first-time home buyer, it's 3% down. If you're moving or a move-up buyer moving to another home, it's just 5% down. So those are just some examples. There's even zero down for veterans that most people are familiar with. There's also USDA loans that are zero down that are for anyone. You don't need to be a veteran, that are less commonly talked about, but there's so much of that here in the Carolinas that it should be a part of a conversation with a loan officer, particularly if you're someone who don't have a down payment saved right now.
What about repossessions, medical bills, and student loans is a great good one. People think that, I hear that all the time, well, I got a lot of student loans and I don't think I'm going to be able to qualify for a home. Is that possible?
It is. Student loans are basically about what loan product you have. So with student loans, for instance, there's a difference. If you are looking at an FHA loan and you have student loans, we have to take 1% of your balance. So if you're someone who has $50,000 worth of student loans, we're going to count $500 against your debt. Versus on a conventional loans allow us to use income-based repayment plans. So if you have $50,000 worth of loans, but you're actually paying $75 a month, we get to use that $75 a month. Okay. So it's really, your student loans are based on what loan product is going to be good for you. It does not mean that you can't do or can't purchase a home right now.
Okay, well, let me ask you another question. There's another question out there that, somebody like myself that's self-employed, they think that they can't have a loan. I mean, what's the process for self-employed people?
Well, for self-employed, there's, it's just looked at differently. If you're W-2, basically, we'll look at your paycheck stubs and your W-2s. If you are self-employed, we look at your tax returns. So we're looking at your last 2 years' tax returns typically. So you need to be in business normally 2 years on average to be able to purchase a home and provide 2 years of tax documents. And we're going to go by the number that says not what you made as your gross income. We're using what your net income is, your adjusted gross income after all expenses. So basically, don't let your accountant write everything off. If you know that you are purchasing a home, you'll want to let your accountant know that you're purchasing a home, and so that you can kind of balance that, because the government has the underwriters use the amount after all expenses.
So what you're saying is I need to be able to show some income. I need to be able to show if I made $100,000 as a self-employed person, that my accountant don't write everything off down to zero. I need to show exactly I made $100,000 or I made $50,000, but I need to show a certain income level.
Correct. We're going to use the income after all expenses. So, like you just said, the idea of someone they might have invoices that total $100,000, but in reality, it's what they're claiming on their taxes. And that sometimes it takes a little bit more conversation, because also what you're doing or the different industries might play into it. There's also other methods with self-employed to utilize. We can use 12 months of bank statements instead of the tax returns. So if someone's been in business for 2 or more years, I might look to see whether their tax returns versus their bank statements give them more income to calculate. So there's a variety of ways. If someone's been in business for more than 3 years, we also don't have to use 2 years. We could use 1 year on certain loan products for self-employed. So the real message is definitely there's a lot of variety in products for self-employed, and the key most of the time is either tax returns or bank statements for their business.
Okay, thank you.